All right. Hello. Good morning, good evening, and good night. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic because holy smokes, today do we have an up day. So what we're going to talk about in this video is I want to highlight a very important article, which is going to go over exactly why the markets are up almost 10% today. You want to talk about volatility? Well, the current time is 4:05 and the markets are still moving. I don't know what's going on right now, but basically, I do know what's going on with tariffs. Basically, I want to talk about this pause that Donald Trump has introduced to all countries except for China. So what I want to talk about is I want to talk about this 90-day pause. I also want to talk about how the tariffs are not over. There's still a 10% tariff on all countries during this 90-day pause. I want to talk about what's going on, what he said, and exactly what's going on with the market. Then I want to also illustrate this back to Yieldmax ETFs and show why days like this are not actually super productive for Yieldmax ETFs and why Yieldmax ETFs take hits on huge up days like we've seen today. So it's a little bit concerning, but at the same time, there's a lot of news flying around. I want to get straight into this video. We're currently up to 7,770 subscribers. Let's get this to 7,777. What a beautiful number that is. So if you're enjoying the videos, you like this video, please do subscribe as well. I'm working on creating the full edition of my dividend tracker. That'll be coming soon, so stay tuned for that. Okay, 9.7% up in the S&P 500 today. What is going on? Basically, what we've seen was a pause for the tariffs on most countries for 90 days. So this is a very volatile time, as I've been mentioning in my channel. That's why I've been making videos every single day, roughly about 4 o'clock the same time, and it's to cover what's going on within the markets. Now today, markets are pretty much up 10%, and that's the S&P 500. That's not an individual stock. That is a huge move. And it comes off the news that Donald Trump has paused tariffs for 90 days on majority of companies except for China. What it says here, President Donald Trump reverses course in global trade war he launches just a week ago, announcing on social media a 90-day pause on new tariffs against countries on China. So, new tariffs. What are these tariffs? Basically, Trump's chart, I want to pull this up quick, chart of tariffs. This is what they're talking about. They're talking about this chart right here that Donald Trump had, which explicitly showed how much each country is going to get tariff. You see China at the top, the European Union, Vietnam, Taiwan, Japan, India. All these companies are going to receive this 90-day pause in terms of tariffs, but they are not off the hook by any means because, as mentioned down here, if I can find it, there will still be the walk back by Trump, evident with a 10% reciprocal tariff on all countries during the pause. So although there's a pause on these tariffs for countries which abide, all except for China, there is still a 10% tariff, you could say a global tariff, on all countries affected. So still a 10% tariff in effect. And as far as news on China, as he halted his broader tariff program amid rising recession fears, Trump I don't even know what this word is. Tariffs up against China to 125%. So basically, tariffs have been paused on a majority of countries except for China, and China's tariff has been risen to 125%. This has been because China has escalated their tariff and trade war against the United States, and so the US is fighting back. The United States now has a leverage. Trump now has a leverage because all of the hands are in his court. He is currently making deals with multiple countries. They mention up to 70 countries, and so 70 countries are potentially going to be working with and helping to rebuild the United States in terms of their infrastructure and make deals that are going to be beneficial for the United States, except for China. So this is very interesting. I think China, being one of the US's biggest trade partners, is still a critical deal within this whole trade war. And so it's something to keep in mind. But in terms of a bullish reaction, wow, did we get one today? And this is very bullish for the stock market because this means that a lot of tariffs, although not completely gone, they're going to be significantly reduced. This means better outlook for consumers. And a better outlook generally for us. So what am I thinking with the market? This is crazy. This is all up and down. You see the volatility over the past couple days, and there's still a decent opportunity which presents itself, but I think it's important to be cautious when investing over the next little time period. Of course, if you see market opportunities, I think this is a little bit of confirmation to say, okay, we could be potentially going back to an uptrend. But as you know, Trump announces news, it's extremely volatile. So still expect a lot of volatility. But I think this is a good sign to start maybe picking some of your favorite stocks or ETFs which you believe are potentially on sale. And there's still a lot on sale. You look at Apple. Although Apple went up about 15% today, you look at the 6-month time frame and it's still down about 20%. Not to say that it can't go down further, but who knows from here? The news is so extreme and markets are so volatile that it's really difficult to predict where they're going to go. I think cash is still your best friend. I think it's important to still consistently invest, as many are saying in the comments. That's why we have such a great community, because you guys mention within the comments that you guys are still continuing to invest was up more than the dividend pay will ever rebuy lower. Okay, I thought that was something on reinvesting, but you guys are awesome in your comments stating what you guys are doing, how you guys are still reinvesting, and I think it's very important. And I did actually add some cash to my account today, only about $450, but this is another sign just to show how volatile these markets are. And when we look at Yieldmax ETFs compared to their underlying, I want to highlight some. MSTY up 22%, and we have MSTR up about 25%. You see, Yieldmax ETFs, they always lag behind on extreme up days. It's prevalent in all Yieldmax ETFs, where Apple's up 15% and Apply is up about 13.75%. You also have Square, the option income strategy ETF for Yieldmax, up 11%, whereas the underlying up 14%. So one thing to keep in mind when you invest in Yieldmax ETFs, they will lag behind on big up days, and they will take a majority of the downside. So you trade dividend income for a little bit less return, but of course, if you reinvest those dividends, that should work in your favor. But with all that being said, it's definitely a crazy time. I have to take more time and look for individual Yieldmax ETFs that I want to buy. Of course, I have ones within my goals, which I'm looking to buy, but it all depends on their price points and where they're currently at and their underlying stocks. If I believe they have potential to go higher, now is a time where I might look to really add and build this portfolio. So I will have to keep you guys posted with any buys. I hope this video was somewhat informative on the situation, and I understand I might not be the best, but I'll do my best in order to get you any information that I possibly can. So if you guys did enjoy this video, we're up to 7,770 subscribers. Let's get that up to a nice even 7,777. And I hope to see you guys in the next video.